I'm Jenny. Thank you for joining the Madison Public Library for our face mask tie-dyeing. Tie-dyeing is easy and fun, and you'll always get fantastic results. Tie-dyeing has been around since the 1960s, but fabric dyeing has been around for thousands of years. Indigo is one of the first known natural dyes, and it was derived from plants. Indigo and purple are colors associated with royalty because only the very wealthy could afford the dyes. Fun fact, purple was made from the mucus of sea snails, which in addition to being extremely smelly, it took 250,000 snails just to produce 1 ounce of dye. All right, our supplies for the tie-dye are obviously some dye. Now you can use the RIT dye, which is a powdered dye that usually comes with its bottle. The powder's in the bottle, and you just add water. And today we're also going to be using the liquid RIT dye. So for that, you will need to get some squeeze bottles. These are just dollar store condiment bottles, to which you will add water and table salt. We'll also be pre-soaking our items in washing soda. Then obviously you'll need your rubber bands, some gloves, and some plastic wrap or plastic bags. And then you'll want to place your items either on some kind of rack or on some paper towels because you want to avoid having your tie-dyed items sitting in a pool of dye. Also, tie-dye can get messy, so we have covered the surface with just a cheap plastic tablecloth. It's a great time to work outside while you're still able to, and then the plastic just washes right off. Now these dyes work best with 100% cotton, linen, or rayon. The less natural fibers in your material, the more muted your colors may be. And you want to make sure to pre-wash the items that you are dyeing. Now you'll be applying dye to damp items either straight from the washer, or you can run them under water and wring them out. Optionally, you can soak your fabric in the washing soda. So the washing soda helps the fabric to accept the dye. So I have our face mask soaking right now. The washing soda can be found in the laundry aisle, and it won't go to waste because it's great for laundry and cleaning, but it takes about 1/2 cup of washing soda per gallon of water. You just need enough to cover your items. You're going to soak them for 10 to 15 minutes and then take them out and wring them out. And make sure you use gloves when handling these items, as the washing soda can be irritating to your skin. And now we're ready to tie. All right, there are many techniques for tie-dyeing. We're going to go over 5 here today. So the first technique, and this is an end result, is the swirl. So for the swirl, you have to pick a point. Because the masks are small, it's sometimes easier just to choose the center point. So you're going to pinch the center and start twisting your mask around the center point. Basically get a swirl, work the ear loops into it. And then you're going to use 3 rubber bands to hold this together in pie-shaped wedges. So carefully slip your rubber bands over the mask, cross them at the center. And that will be for the swirl. The second mask is going to be the bullseye. So for that one, you just want to pick a focal point anywhere on the mask, pinch it up, and pull the rest down, and then add some rubber bands about every inch, inch and a half down the length of your fabric. All right, so that's plenty. And that's going to be the bullseye. The mask in the middle is the marble tie-dye. So for this one, you're going to take your mask, put a marble in, as many or few as you like. So you're going to place the marble in the mask, apply the rubber band under the marble, and you can space them out, get them close together. Just going to fill up the whole mask. With marbles. So obviously I'm just going to do 2, but you can keep going through the whole mask. This mask was just a simple fan fold. So you're going to put your mask out. You can do it either horizontally or vertically. So we're just going to fold it back and forth. All right, like so. And then again, add some rubber bands down the length of the mask. Now the tighter and bigger the rubber band, the more white area you can get on your mask because it blocks the dye. All right, and one more, fixing the fold on the end. All right, and there's our fan fold. And our last one we're doing is going to just be a rolled mask. So I'm just taking a plastic marker. I'm going to kind of go diagonally. You can go any direction. And I'm going to start rolling my face mask on the marker. Then I'm going to scrunch it up once I get it rolled. And again, just place rubber bands down the length of the marker. All right, so everything's tied up and we are ready to dye. Okay, I have my rack set above a plastic container. Again, you can just use some paper towels if you don't have a rack. I finished adding more marbles to the mask with the marbles on it. And it's time to prepare the dye. Now, if you have the tulip dye kits that come with the bottles, just follow the instructions. You just add the water to the powder and shake it really well. Then for the liquid dyes, what you need is 2 tablespoons of dye per every 2 cups of warm water, and also 1 tablespoon of table salt, and shake well. And then we're ready to go. So the only thing to keep in mind when you're pouring dyes is to keep the colors that are opposite from each other on the color wheel away, because they turn into kind of a muddy brown color. So that would be red and green, orange and blue, and yellow and purple. Other than that, just have some fun. So first I'm going to start with the swirl. What you want to do is add up to 6 colors of dye in every wedge shape on the swirl, and then turn it over, and you're going to add, and I'm going to fix my rubber band. You're going to add the same color on the opposite side, let it soak on through. I'm just going to carefully start with my colors. Let it soak in the folds. And then flip it over and get the second side. All right, so the more dye that you use, then the less white space you're going to have in your tie-dye. All right, and then next up is the bullseye. So you just kind of take your sections and go close to the rubber band, or you can keep it a little further apart so that you get a little more white in your tie-dye. So this one, I'm just going to roll around so that I get all the sides. All right, this one was our fan fold. So just going to keep turning it. All right, and then with the marbles, you want to go ahead and maybe just let a little bit of dye run down on the marbles. And then squeeze some more dye around the rest of the mask. All right, and last we have the rolled one. I'm just going with one color on this one. Let it soak in. I want some white space on that one. So that is done. The next thing you want to do once they're done dripping is to wrap your items separately in some plastic wrap or a plastic bag, and you can let those sit for 6 hours to up to 24 hours. After your time is up, then you're going to take them out of the plastic, leave them wrapped up, and run them under some cool water until the water starts to run clear. Then go ahead and take your rubber bands off and run it under some more water. Make sure when you're dealing with the wet items that you don't let them touch, because you will get some dye transferring. And then wash your items in cold water with a little mild detergent. And it's recommended to throw in an old towel or something in the washing machine to help catch any extra dye. And then dry, and they are ready to wear. All right, our extra method for tie-dye today is a shaving cream marble dye. For this dye method, you're going to want to make sure that the items that you dye are dry. Washed but dried. So I'm just working on a little plastic lid here that fits the size of my mask. If you're doing something bigger, like a pillowcase or a shirt, you can just lay out a plastic tablecloth and dye right on that. So you're going to spread out a layer of shaving cream about the size of the item you want to dye. Okay, then you're going to take, I use the RIT liquid dye. And we're going to use that in the concentrated form. So I have a dropper, you could use a spoon, whatever you have handy. And it's not going to take a lot. I'm just going to add some drops of dye throughout the shaving cream. And I'm going to add a few drops of purple. It doesn't take a lot of dye for this method. Then with the end of a paintbrush here, you just want to go ahead and swirl the dye into the shaving cream. You really don't want to mix it in real well or go in too deep, but you want it to sit on the surface. could use a little more dye in this. All right, then you're going to carefully place your fabric onto the shaving cream. Press it down into the dye. Then you're going to peel it back and let it sit, shaving cream side up, for about 5 minutes. When you're done, you're going to use like a piece of cardboard or a ruler, gently scrape off the shaving cream, and then you will be left with a marbled look on your mask. So again, you're going to want to cover that with some plastic wrap, let it sit for the 6 to 24 hours. Rinse it out in cold water and then wash and dry, and it's ready to wear.